Yo, bartender.
Bar's closed.
Hey, yo, bartender, what's good, man? Let me get a drink, man. Let me get a shot.
Hey, man, I know you just pulled up to the bar, but we closed.
Come on, man. You gotta be able to give me a shot, man. Come on.
You look like you need a drink, man, but I hate to tell you this, man. We about to close.
So you mean to tell me all these people out here, they got drinks and they got shots, but I can't get nothing. The bar closed that soon?
Okay, man, I don't know what else to say. I got this shorty half my age at the crib, and I'm trying to get to her. But last call was 10 minutes ago.
You know what? It's all right. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right. Tell you what, I'm gonna get you one drink, because it look like you need
one drink. I can do one drink. I can do one drink, because I really, yeah.
Hey, man, anything, man. Look like you got a lot on your mind and you need a friend right now. Pour it on me. Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome to Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome.
One of the things I want to say is brought to you by Camo Dumpsters.
Right.
Now, this is a company that's, again, up in Tennessee. We're going to be real big in Atlanta as well. But right now, I got to get y'all back up into Tennessee. So, I can tell y'all, if y'all doing great things up in Tennessee and y'all need somebody, y'all can call on us. And what's going to happen is I'll be one of the ones to be represented, to be able to come out, talk to you. If not, I can be able to talk you through any things that you might need to know. I got 30-something years experience. Put it to use. All you got to do is give us a call at Camo Dumpsters. Now, I got to get off of that and get back to the person that comes in this show each and every time. What a smile, Craftmatic. How you doing tonight, big baby?
I'm doing super fabulous, Jay.
Man, he's still coming in with this smile. Now, I'm telling you, that's over 6 years of doing this. This is not normal, y'all.
Right.
So you can't be faking.
No, man.
It's got to be you by now, bro. The true person comes out after a while.
Yeah, man. I'm full of the spirit, man. I'm full of life, and I believe in life.
Okay.
I still got dreams and goals. I'm fired up about my life, So I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. And listen, I am so proud of you, bro. I mean, we have had to recreate kind of our whole schedule and affairs and everything, but my boy Jay is blowing up, and I'm proud of you for that, man. I'm really proud of you. You know.
I'm very humble, and thank you for the kind words.
Yeah.
One of the things I can tell you, being humble and experiencing it, it's a lot different. And if anybody noticed in my life, some things have been shut off, and I ain't been calling you and this, that, and other. Just know I can't be the same person expecting the same.
That's powerful.
You know,
that's powerful.
My position at this company is VP. I can't come in less than what I am.
Right.
So I have to change up because I got to learn a new position. And in that position, I can't do old things. And so a lot of things I used to do, I can't continue doing, or I will mess up my positioning.
Yes.
So I prayed for it, and now that I got it, I got to understand I got to work to keep it.
There you go.
Because again, I had a teacher told me a long time ago, I started everybody off with an A. I said, that's what's up.
Right.
I was happy than the mud, but now you got to keep it.
Now you got to keep it.
Now
right.
Nobody told me. Well, I'm starting to like you.
Right,
know, but it's a way of changing your mental.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to change mine with the new things I got coming. So again, for all the ones that might not hear from me no more, I don't talk to you, I didn't forget about you. It's not me forgetting. Just know I got to shed off to make that butterfly fly. You know, I was in the cocoon when you met me. It was nothing negative. I had to grow. And now that I'm about to spread my wings so I can learn how to fly, I can't always carry you with me.
I love it, Jay. I love it, Jay. And we're going to continue this discussion during our quote section. We're going to call it change. Let's talk about change. A great way to introduce our show. This is Bar Talk with Jay.
Yes.
My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay. And we are so grateful to be here tonight. Our whole format has changed. So even though you're seeing shows, we're doing shows here in between.
Yes.
And, it's just a powerful experience to be here. I just want to say that this show, as always, should be a therapeutic opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to grow. It's an opportunity for you to learn. It's an opportunity to develop yourself. As you listen to our dialogue, we want you to kind of bounce our stories and opinions off of your own life and figure out what's meaningful. Make some decisions about how you can grow to be your greatest possibility. Mm-hmm. I have watched this man grow for the last 6 years, and it's been absolutely incredible to watch. As well, I think there's some synchronistic energy going on here, so I'm growing as well. And so his growth elevates my growth, and my growth elevates his growth, and we continue to be here every week and speak this powerful word. So, of course, we always start the show off with a prayer, and why don't we get that done, Jay?
Man, go ahead. But I want to say one thing when you were saying that, because it reminded me of crabs in a bucket.
Yeah.
Somebody also told me crabs really don't generate from a bucket, but they do march together.
Yes.
So as I grow, you grow. That goes back to a crab mentality. Be around people that's willing to grow with you and keep on growing. Don't get the mentality of pulling somebody down or back in.
Right.
Because that's not naturally what happens. We normally walk together, and that's where our strength is, not pulling. So that's where I feel like we're failing. They give us analogies that's a failing analogy instead of the great analogy as how God put it. He put them on earth to roam together.
Yes.
But then you talk about a barrel. That's not their habitat. That's what they're used to. So they're pulling, and I don't need y'all to pull. Let's march. Let's do this.
Let's march together. Absolutely. I love it. By the way, our topic for tonight is, do you have the energy to put into a new relationship?
Ooh, okay.
I think we can all grow from that subject, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go ahead and do our prayer tonight. Tonight, we're actually going to pray for healing. Healing in relationships.
Yes.
Let's hand it over to the Lord. Heavenly Father, we come to you with our heads bowed and our hearts humbled, just thanking you for all the power and love and gifts of the Spirit that you pour into us every day. We're asking, Heavenly Father, that you would renew our minds and souls in the way of relationships.
Yes.
Many of us have gone through heartbreaks and hurts and pains and challenges, and oftentimes the old way keeps us from experiencing our greatest good and our new good in life. And so we're asking, Father, that you would heal us from the old stuff, that you would redirect our path, that you would cause our memory to lose the bad stuff and only retain the good stuff. We're asking, Father, that you would fill us with the spirit of love, loving ourselves and being able to love other people. Not just friends and family, but to love our special one. We're asking, Lord, that you would guide us in the direction of right action and right understanding about relationships. Give us purpose and drive in our relationships. Allow us to nurture other people the way we perhaps would like to be nurtured. Give us a spirit of a fruitful and loving and healthy and positive relationship for the future. We ask, Father, that you would do this and that you would be blessed in this show, that you would speak your word and give us your intelligence. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Woo, boy, I tell you.
Amen.
If that ain't open up some people right there, I don't know what's going to do it tonight.
And that felt good, too. That came right off the dome, that felt so good.
That's how it should.
Yeah, and see, if you folks aren't aware, we believe in the power of prayer.
Say it.
That is part of our systematic approach to life. We don't approach anything unless we pray over it.
Right.
And that's what we're asking you to do in your life, that if there's something coming, let's just say you met a special someone.
Oh, okay.
Rather than going in it with doubts and fears and, kind of the old mindset and some of your baggage, pray over it that the relationship might be fruitful and healthy. Pray over it that you would get understanding and wisdom early so you may not have to go through 2 or 3 years of pain.
Okay.
But the key is that you got to think ahead. And if you don't think ahead, you're just going to be wallowing in the way.
That's correct.
Right? So there you go. So, my whole life has been dedicated to teaching people how to think proactively and how to create their life intentionally.
All right.
And, we can do that with our careers. We can do that with our health. We can do that in relationships. We can do that for anything under the sun. But we have to be proactive. And that's the whole message here. We started off this show, and Jay was talking about the fact that he has elevated. And his elevation has created changes in him.
That is correct.
It's created changes in his environment. It's created changes in his relationships.
Yeah.
And, most of you don't know this, but it has dramatically changed his life. He doesn't sleep in the same place. He doesn't eat in the same place.
Nope.
He doesn't talk to the same people every day.
Nope.
We're talking about significant change. And in his situation, I want everybody to be able to relate to this. In his situation, the change happened because he elevated in his career. But as he elevates in his career, he has to take all the other areas of his life with him.
Right.
He's got to eat differently. He's got to, have new friends.
correct.
He's living in a different place. He's got to set up a new house and a new home. There's all kinds of change. And so what we're ultimately saying here, and I want you to comment on this, Jay, is that when you elevate, you cannot live in the same mind and body and spirit that you did when you were on a lower level.
Nope.
It doesn't work. You
Exactly.
have to become a different person. You have to absorb the newness, and you have to make the changes in your mind and heart that fits the now. Oftentimes, that means the people that was in your life then can't really be in your life now.
Correct.
And we're not talking about just firing people, but we're saying when you elevate, you don't have time for people who are kind of needy. When you elevate, you may need to put more time into yourself than perhaps your significant other or your spouse or your kids or your friends. Sometimes you got to turn a blind eye to those things that you can't make a difference on and just continue to drive forward. It's not that you're neglecting the world, it's that you're accepting change.
Yes.
And I think accepting change is the key factor in any person's success.
Yes.
Because, you know, if you're going to elevate to your greatest level, that you cannot continue to be the person that you are now and get there. You got to be a different person.
Yes.
To be a
And in being a different person, man, it causes change. And one of the things I'll tell anybody, a lot of people feel like, well, yeah, you can still be that same person. Well, if you be the same person, you won't be doing the greater things. You can't be comfortable. You can't stay where you were thinking that that's going to get you to where you want to be.
Right.
There's going to be some things and some dips in the road. You need to be able to see them. But you can't always see them if you're distracted by the old things that you used to do. That's why a lot of people get hung up. Because they be like, I don't want to lose anybody. If they was meant for you, they'd be there with you.
Right.
Most people are always saying they're there for you, but when you start going, all of a sudden they say they can't live without you, this, that. They ain't going to have no choice.
Right.
Because what I had to do is I had to come from Atlanta, Georgia, all the way to Tennessee on the backside of Tennessee, Wrigley. So when I'm talking about country land is nothing like me used to the city. I had to adapt. You know, I got a company apartment. I had to get it furnished. I had to do a lot of different things. And I had to be by myself.
Woo!
Now
That's
was
it.
a heck of a change because I was here in Atlanta, nice size house, living good. You know, my son's around me. You know, my daughters was visiting me. It just felt regular home.
Right.
I remember the drive up, Brad, in my truck. I'm loaded down like I'm going to college. I'm too old to be
Because
going
you
to
are.
college. I'm going to a new place,
Corporate college.
trying to do new things, and I realized I'm going to a place without my norm. My norm was my house, my mortgage, and all the bills I pay. I still got to do that.
Right.
But now I'm going to a new place, and I'm building up. Got new furniture coming. Got to get it put up and everything set up. So now I'm there, and guess what? I'm by myself.
You're by yourself. That's
Now,
the shit.
people still calling you and they like, yo, how's everything going? They caring about me. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Love that. Appreciate everybody that stood behind me and that was there for me, like no different than Kraft, Move, and the rest.
Right.
All in check on me.
Right.
I'm a humble, gracious brother, but that's one moment I had to be by myself. And I started realizing I have to move differently. I can't keep moving like I was.
Yeah.
I got people that's looking at me differently, so I have to be more knowledgeable about what I do and what I stand for.
Yeah.
And that is the company's values, which is part of mine.
Right.
So I have to start living off of this. So it made me understand differently what I need to do. And I took it to heart, and then I started shedding off.
Tell me about this transition, because and I need you folks to really dial in on this, because I know that the Lord is going to elevate you, and you need to know that the Lord is going to elevate you, right? Elevation is coming your way, but you have to be ready for it. And one of the key components of elevation is being alone. That's a major shift. I recall me graduating from college. My first job was in Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay.
I left Florida A&M University, Black World City, Culture of America, to go to Des Moines, Iowa. I found myself alone.
Okay. Very much alone.
And I had to take more control over myself and more control over my life. And so if I was going to have a church family, I had to go find one.
Okay.
If I was gonna have friends, I had to allow myself to meet some new friends. If I was going to decide to travel, I had to decide where I wanted to go and put me a budget together and make my trips so that I could make sure and take care of myself.
Right.
If I was going to work out, I had to go find a facility. I had to go buy a new membership. It's almost like every decision that you made before, you have to make it again.
Yep.
And as you make the new decision again, it takes you in the direction of your greater choice. Right? It was easy to go work out when I was at FAMU because I knew where to go. I knew all the people. I knew my tight boys be there, hang out, whatever. But when I got to Des Moines, Iowa, I had to go and find a place to work out. And sometimes, and it started in my neighborhood. And then I elevated to the next level. I met somebody who said, "Oh, let's go to this gym." It grew from there.
Like I said, get you out of your comfort zone. That's what it is.
There you go.
So go ahead and go with the topic real quick because this really relates to it.
It definitely does. So yeah, let's get right into the gravy here.
Okay.
So the question for tonight is: do you have the energy to put into a new relationship?
And the answer to that question is just like I changed for my job, I can do the same thing when it comes to a relationship. So the answer is yes. Not only do I have it, I'm going to show it.
Right.
Because I had to do something differently when I moved away from Atlanta to go all the way up to Tennessee. Now that I'm up in Tennessee, I have to take a greater energy to get to know me better. Because what makes me solid is me whole. With me being happy. Okay?
Right.
Happy by self, so I can stay happy when I'm with somebody. So I had to give back to me because when I was here, I was more stagnant than I was happy, but I was happy because I was around different people. It was a comfort. I had to get uncomfortable to start back praying for a better understanding. Lord, what you have for me. Now that I'm by myself, give me more understanding what I am about to go through, so I can make it through.
Yes.
So I didn't pray specific like some people told me. You got to pray specifically to what you want. You got to make it clear. I made it unclear because he needed to make it clear for me. I had too much thought on what it should be, and it was not what it was going to be.
That's good.
So I asked for a better understanding of what I'm about to go through, so I can make it through. Because he gave me the energy and the power to do it. I always had to make sure I was putting it in the right place.
Yes.
So then I'm there by myself and I'm starting making decisions. These decisions were starting to come to me differently than before. So now when people come at me, I don't have to look at things the same. I don't have the time frame, but they were making excuses for me. People call you, I know you ain't got no time. So okay, so what you calling for? I don't even got to tell them nothing. They just say it to me automatically. I know you're a busy person. Okay, so what you got?
Right.
So it makes them act a little differently towards me, tell me things that I need to hear, and then we'll keep it moving.
Yeah.
And that's what made me start moving differently to a better.
Yeah, and I want everybody to hear what he just said because it's extremely profound. He said, being in a new place alone, I had to pray differently. I used to pray kind of in knowingness, but now I'm going to pray with a little more open mind because I need direction. And so, again, his prayers changed. He's asking for guidance. He's asking for strength. He's asking for direction. He's asking for peace of mind. Sometimes when we get alone, we got to pray just to be okay with being alone.
That is true.
Sometimes, when you move from an environment where you're always surrounded by people and company and, there's always somebody there to talk to, and then you get into a place of aloneness, sometimes people will bounce off the walls.
Yes.
They'll start to feel lonely. They'll start to think that something is missing. They'll start to believe that, they may not even be able to drive forward without all of that support. And so the way he prayed changed, and I'm so enlightened by that idea. You also mentioned your decisions changed. Your decision-making process was happening different. Tell us about that, Jay.
Now, when you look at the differences, you got to remember I was comfortable where I was. So I was getting fed. Now I have to feed myself.
Right.
Because before I'm in a comfortable spot, different people calling me, telling me different things I can probably bring into the show, this, that, the other. Well, now I'm by myself. So now I'm thinking about different things I need to do. And you need to take control of some things because you can be led astray with following others and not understanding you.
Yes.
So when I pray for the understanding, I had to understand I have to start leading this instead of holding on and waiting on somebody else.
Okay.
And that's what made me make decisions on what I want to do.
Right.
And grab the information and make more decisions of what I want.
Yeah.
No different than the business. I had to look at the business aspect of how it's running compared to where I want it to be.
Right.
Is it even in the footprint of what I want compared to what somebody else had it?
Yeah.
And I like to say that's where comfortability comes from, because why not keep it the same? Because I don't really like where it was going.
Okay.
I like it to go smoother and better because of my past experience, and I want to apply it because that's what I learned it for.
So how is this relating to relationships?
It's of the same source. I was dating non-monogamous, trying to learn everybody and keep it smooth because I didn't want to just be with just a person at the time. I wanted to date differently so I could find the best person for me, okay?
Okay.
Now I'm by myself. I have to start being a little wiser. I'm getting a little older. I should be able to make a decision. I was getting too comfortable doing that. So now I'm by myself. I'm starting to realize some of the things that I was going through I don't need to be putting up with. And just like at the job, I had to make some changes. I had to make some changes in my life.
Yes.
If people wasn't adding up, don't make it make sense.
Right.
They need to make it make sense. I'm making excuses for people. I don't need to be making excuses. If they doing stuff that doesn't make sense, then why are they in my life?
See, that's powerful, Jay, because what that's saying is that, and this is what will happen when you get into that alone space, you're going to start to question what you were doing before.
Yes.
All of a sudden, you're going to start to be like, you know what, I was putting up with nonsense, and you know what, I don't want nobody like that anymore. Or, you know, I don't want nobody who was always, you know, trying to push me around or trying to take something from me, or somebody who doesn't bring anything to the table, you know. And so here again, one's elevation causes you to check yourself.
Yeah.
Causes you to look at your values. And in this particular case, we're talking about relationships. Jay is automatically, you know, probably the first 2 or 3 days, he was like, you know what, I've been putting up with nonsense for a long time. I'm done with that. And so now that I have elevated, I'm elevating my quality of relationships. And how's that working out for you, Jay?
Great.
Yeah.
And when I say great, a lot of people say, yeah, that's just too much alone time. That's because you're not happy with yourself.
Right.
I'm happy with me.
Right.
Not only happy, I was unhappy tolerating things that I shouldn't have been tolerating.
Right.
So now I'm in a position where I don't have to just keep looking back, wondering. I'm moving forward, knowing. That's the better understanding, is I know where I'm going.
Right.
I'm not wondering about where you at. You need to figure out where I'm going, because I'm probably moving way past you. Because I don't have that weight on me no more. I had the weight of the world trying to carry everybody. And I really realized I wasn't even carrying people where I needed to be. I'm trying to go wherever everybody pushing.
Right.
I don't need you to push me to be where God is leading me to be. So let me be the leader to what he made me to be compared to what you want me to be. Because I have to be me. A lot of times people like to be comfortable with everybody else is agreeing with. I don't have to agree with you.
Right.
And a lot of people feel like, well, you don't want that. Well, believe me, you don't want this smoke either.
Yeah.
Because I really feel like that's the power of choice that he gave us, and we're losing it trying to be with everybody else.
Yeah.
I can't think like everybody else because I wasn't made to.
Yeah.
But what I can say is some things I agree with, some things I don't. But that makes my character. That's me.
Yeah.
But now you want to soften me for a better you. Well, I like to say one thing about me, if you want to go back to the Bible. He didn't just kill Pharaoh. He softened Pharaoh. Pharaoh finally let his people go, and then Pharaoh went back for his people. His people was probably going to come back to him because they was scared of where they was going. They wasn't for sure, but they found out he was coming after them to kill him, so they had no choice but to go all the way out there. Okay? And that's why he ended up dying. But understand, he didn't just kill him. He gave them choice and power. You have a choice. When you choose to do certain things, just understand he's trying to give you an understanding for you can live a full purpose, but a lot of times you use a control purpose. That's not always going to be in your control. I would only tell you to love one another. Have the power to show humanity that you got something in you other than hatred and disrespect. Love one another. Care for one another. And that's what I try to move and do. My show is not to push you towards alcohol. It is to get you to open up because that's where you're going. I don't even have none of that in front of me right now because it's never been about that. Yeah. That's where your mind goes. Mine goes where our conversation has already been at.
Right.
I've been in a lot of relationships. One of the reasons why I feel like I can talk about them because I failed at some of them. But them failures are just lessons for me to be in a great one.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
The one that's meant for me will get with me and understand my past is just my past. Some people say, well, you cheated, so I never see nothing in you but cheating. Because you don't see me. You see what was in you. I don't see that. I don't care for all that. But what I do care for is you. To know it's all right to make mistakes, but you can't stay there. I used to stay where I was comfortable. Now I'm going places that I ain't never been before. You got to get off that comfort zone. Please don't think that's the best place to be.
Yeah. And,
But the best place is not in hatred and disrespect, but it's in respect and in his place of be, as in where God has for you, not where man. Man will mislead you all the time.
Yeah. Let me attempt to answer this question for
Which
me.
Go for it.
Kraft,
What you got, Craig?
do you have the energy to put into a new relationship?
What's the answer?
It depends.
When?
It depends. And I have a longing for love.
Mm-hmm.
I have a longing to have Mrs. Right in my life.
Okay.
And because I haven't got her, because I haven't received her, because she's not here right now,
Right.
that my mindset has tuned into
Into what?
laser focused on my career.
Okay, what's wrong with that?
And there's nothing wrong with that. But
Okay.
in order to entertain love,
Mm-hmm.
you might have to turn your ear a little bit from career. And you have,
Yes.
you know, life is balance. You know, I can't be 100,000% focused on my career. Mrs. Right show up, and I just start turning my attention. Because, you know, when someone comes into your life, it requires time and
Yeah.
attention.
Correct.
And, you know, where I would work from 7 to 10 p.m.,
Mhm.
I need to make some time for this new lady.
Okay.
And so I'm almost going to have to do some vetting before I start giving my time and attention away. Because, see, my personal vision is to, you know, I got a vision to save the world, so to speak.
Okay,
I got a
okay.
vision to make a difference in this world,
I
create a
felt that when I was
legacy,
younger.
you know, and an empire. And I don't want anything to hinder that. And so ultimately, when she comes into my life, I'm hoping that she might be able to be a part of that. So that if she's a part of that, it brings us to like-mindedness. It brings us to a congruent purpose.
Mhm.
It'll bring us, you know, we can talk about, you know, the business and how to help and how to support. You know, we can work together on something.
Mhm.
I think so many relationships dissipate because people are headed in different directions and ultimately toward the end of their relationship, whether it's 2 weeks or 2 years, they're just on different paths and they're not able to communicate on a level where they have similar goals and similar likes.
I
And
couldn't
so
agree.
I don't want to attract someone into my life who's going to kind of be over there and I have to take something from here to get this done. You know,
All right.
I've seen it many a times. In fact, I marvel. I hired an executive coach
Mhm.
a few months ago, and I was allowed to share some of my information with them. So I did a presentation.
Okay.
And so as I'm doing the presentation for them, I'm looking at my dream.
Okay.
I'm looking at a husband and a wife who are in business together.
Mhm.
They have a real estate business, they have a coaching business, and they do something else, multiple things. And as you hear them sharing answers to the training questions, you can see they're both dialed in.
Right.
It was almost like every conversation in that 3-hour period, they could both add value in a way that they were congruent and moving in the same direction,
Mhm.
right? I would imagine if one was in fashion and the other was in real estate, you know, there's nothing wrong with them as long as they can honor one another in their own careers.
There you go.
But it just didn't seem to have the level of power that this couple had. And so I love the idea of a power couple moving in the same direction, moving at the same pace, moving with the same intensity about life, both fired up. I can't bring someone into my life who I may love dearly,
Mm-hmm.
but if they need lots of attention and they need lots of time and they need lots of me, it's going to take away from that potential love. And I don't know. That's why I say I don't know.
Right.
You know, I'm kind of undecided. It's going to depend on the person who comes in. But I absolutely have the energy for love and a relationship. And in fact, you know, I'm actually talking myself right now into maybe taking 20-25% away from my career to get love. Because career is going to do, you know, it's going to provide money. But I'm doing, you know, I'm doing
Right.
Martin Luther King work here. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you all day long. Before you just go ahead and donate that extra to it, just understand in you and your passion and what you do, there's gonna be somebody that's gonna come to you right where you are. That's how he works.
That's what I wanted to get.
And I'm gonna tell you,
That's what I want.
you don't have to give up that. They're gonna get it from you.
Right.
And they might not be in the same position or place, because I thought that's what was going to have to happen. That person is doing the same thing as me. They're not, but they will be committing and understanding you. They will be focused on you and willing to commit with you.
Yes.
And the ideas of what you have and theirs can be different. I'm going to
Yes.
use yours, fashion and real estate.
Yeah.
She's going to make sure you're fashionably sharp in what you already do, and then you're going to give her a more of intellect of into business and marketing. Now she's going to take a little bit of yours, you're going to take a little bit, and now all of a sudden y'all are communicating and y'all becoming that power couple, because it starts with communication.
Right.
And then you're going to lay into each other, and then you're going to get a trust factor. And when you get that trust, then you have that better understanding, and that love factor that usually come on the backside that everybody want to push to the front side.
Yes.
It's not going to be the front thing that you need. You're going to need that communication and that friendship. You're going to have to rely on her just as much as you want to rely on a friend giving you information. Because again, when you allow other people in, that's where the problem comes from. Because now you're being guided different directions.
Right.
You also have a plan on the direction y'all want to go, and that right there is going to be you two making that understanding.
Right.
It changes big time, because before you're playing.
Yes.
You know, what she want, I want. Okay, a whole lot of wants, but no plan. Well, now you laser first, you have a plan.
Right.
So you want somebody that's going to support your plan to support you.
Right.
Now everybody feel like that's just money. No, it's an understanding.
Ooh.
So when I come home from all this, I'm not being frustrated with all the problems of the day. I fed the world everything I had. Rejoice within me. Refill me.
Yes.
For I can give it back to you, for I can give it back to the world the next day.
Yes.
Okay? That's the power source that what he's talking about, compared to where everybody talking about, well, I make this and you're snapping your fingers, you're twisting your hair. Listen, stop that. And that's probably why you're behind single. I need you to understand it is a giving up. It's a giving up to a better understanding of where we gonna get to. That's both of you two are understanding we got to give some things up to make this plan happen. Plan it out, and now you have something to work towards instead of being evil towards each other because you're more powerful than me and you think you don't really respect. You're talking outside your neck and you ain't working together.
And and watch this. I think Jay kind of took the direction that I was thinking about taking. So the question is, do you have the energy to put into a new relationship? What does that energy look like? And he said, you gotta come into it with an energy of change. You gotta come into it with an energy of giving up your preconceived notions. I wanted to say you have to come in it with a new energy.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have the same old energy that you had with the same old bags and troubles in relationship. You got to make a conscious and intentional decision that I'm going to come into this thing open-minded.
Thank you.
I'm going to come into this thing filled with love. And I just some encouragement here.
Go for it.
I want you to think about a relationship that you had in the past where you were absolutely fired up about the relationship,
Oh.
right? And so before that and after that, you probably didn't have that level of energy. But with this particular person in your past, you had a dynamic energy. You know, men, you was wanting to give flowers. Women, you was wanting to cook him a meal. You know, you was wanting to buy her stuff all the time. She was wanting to help you and support you. It was just that fire energy. Go back and take the moments of fired up energy and bring it into today.
Mm.
When you was at your height of interested in being in love, when you were at your height of understanding other people
Right.
had needs and you weren't the only one who had needs,
Yep.
bring that energy to today and you can start from your best work of the past and grow from there.
There you go.
You don't have to start with your baggage and your
Right.
hurts
You
and
got to
your
go all the way
pains.
back to the beginning.
You ain't got to go back to the beginning. Go back to your monuments,
There
and
you
now
go.
we're going to jump from monument to monument.
And you're going to
We're
move
going to go from
further
glory
ahead than
to,
back.
there you go. We're going to go from glory to glory. But it's not going to happen bringing the old energy. It's not going to happen bringing the hurt feelings. And, you know, this is part of the conversation that I think me and Jay have talked about numerous times. It seems that nobody is healing.
They're not.
And it's hard. I'm empathetic for anyone who hasn't healed because sometimes we don't know how to heal. We don't know how to overcome the pain that we have suffered in the past.
I believe that.
I truly believe that my past hurts have hindered me in the past from Mrs. Wright. I believe that I have come into relationships with people who were worthy, and I just couldn't get myself out of the way in order to, establish that relationship. I came into the relationship with no trust for any woman. I came into the relationship, peeking around corners and wondering what you're doing, and why? Because I wasn't healed. And so now I'm looking at this fresh new flower like the last old thorn. That doesn't work. That's never gonna work when you are trying to grow and build something substantial. You gotta come with a fresh and a new and alert. And I'm gonna tell you, the greatest way to come together is common goals.
Yes.
And even more powerful than that is for the two people to sit down and just simply pray together. Praying together will offer you commonality that no other experience can do. Maybe going to church, and I'm not suggesting church. There's a lot of folks who got plenty of God in them who don't need a church.
Right.
Because they got it in them. And I'm for one, I pray in my living room in my house all the time. And so I don't need an institution or fellowship of people, and I know sometimes I should, but I'm whole and complete in my relationship with the Lord. And anybody who comes into my life, if they're interested, halfway interested in praying with me, they got a real shot at longevity in my life.
There you go.
But if I start to praying I'm just gonna go lay down, or I tell you what, you go ahead and get your prayers done, and I'm gonna go to the store. I'll be right back. You see, that's not gonna work for me, because the Lord is the most important thing in my life. If you can't share my relationship with Him, I doubt we're going to be able to share the other parts of relationships that are truly valuable. Every relationship is going to have a challenge. Every relationship is going to have this point where things are going so well, and then there's some misunderstanding. Things are going to be going so well, and then there's going to be a disagreement, etc. And so we're going to have to find a way to overcome those with our new love. With our new person. This new person comes into your life, you might, 6 months, a year in, you might learn some things about them that they did in their past that makes you question their future.
Right.
How are you going to deal with that? Are you going to automatically be judgmental? Or are you going to take some time to learn the person that they are, not the person that they were in the story that they shared with you? It's so important for us to sometimes separate people from their story. I've known a number of women to date men who have been incarcerated. And if you judge that man by his story, you'll never get to his new heart. You'll never get to his new understanding. You'll never get to his new intention. These people, whether incarcerated or not, are still real people. They still can be filled with love. They still can be filled with purpose. They still can be filled with the spirit of happiness and joy and helping and supporting. But if you shut them down based on their story, you automatically are going to miss the opportunity. There's a lot of men, and men are very sensitive about women's past. If you've been a stripper, or you've been in that game for a while, or you kind of they can see you a hustler a little bit.
Fun girl.
Right. They don't want to hear that kind of stuff about your past, and it will cause a man to shun you quickly. It'll cause a man to say, hey, I like you a lot, but we probably ain't going to have much public life. We can come to the house and kick it,
You're there too much.
Probably ain't going to take you around my family or my mama, because I don't want none of them to know that you done did that. But you could be throwing away a very important opportunity to love, because that person is no longer that person. Now, if they're still the same person, and you discover that, then it's time to shun them. It's time to move on with that part of your life. But they may be some real positive nuggets. There may be some gold mine coal in there making diamonds. And sometimes you got to push back the ugly stuff. Sometimes you got to push back the stories so that you can see who the real person is. What you laughing at?
I'm laughing for a reason. Because I'm that person, man. I am that coal that most people didn't even think was a diamond, okay?
Right.
I bragged about some of my past because of the fact that after my divorce, I got into non-monogamy relationships, because I was into one-on-one relationships when I first got out of a marriage.
Right.
They just didn't work because I wasn't healed. I was really not ready to just jump right back in, but it felt better to be with somebody. So
Than to
I
be
didn't
alone.
face
Yeah.
that being alone.
Yeah.
Because I had that fear.
That's good.
And by that, I unfortunately made some relationships not work. I probably sabotaged them myself because I didn't have that self-confidence
Yeah.
in me because of the failure that I didn't want to face.
Right.
So I apologize for anybody I dated right after my marriage. It wasn't fair to you guys, and I will always say,
That's
my
major.
heart wasn't there, but my body was. So it's not like y'all should be shameful of that relationship failing.
Yeah.
It was just you was with a man that wasn't healed, that was out there, and I was really a boy trying to be a man. Now,
Takes a
and,
lot to
and
say
again,
that.
because y'all be like, well, default because of my age. Don't let age fool you. Because at that time, I wanted something, and I wasn't good at it, and I didn't know where I failed because I didn't want to face it.
Right.
That's a boy in me, not a man. A man will face it and understand and make decisions.
Right.
I didn't want to make that decision because I was scared, just like a boy would be scared. And then I had to grow from that, and unfortunately, I had to go through relationships to realize a lot of it. So I pushed away from it, and I should have been completely alone, and I wasn't. So I just dated. I was obviously trying to find the right person, but I was also moving within a healing situation, but then also a stuck situation. Because once I almost got healed from it, I got stuck in it because it was comfortable, and I should have never got comfortable. What got me out of it when they moved me out of Georgia into Tennessee, I had to start doing things a lot differently.
Yeah, and let me just make this point because I just want to reiterate this for the folks who didn't quite get it. Sometimes when you're stuck in a rut, sometimes when the cycle seems to happen over and over and over and over, sometimes when you're miserable and you're unhappy and you things just aren't going well, change your environment. Right? There are people who've done that many a times. They get stifled in one city. They just don't feel like they're growing. They don't feel like they're moving in the right direction. Then they move to a new city. Now they can entertain a new mentality. Now they can go see new people. Now they can have a whole new identity. They can create a brand new story. But, it's important to make a shift. And, what Jay said is, kind of, I can understand. I took my hurtness and I probably had to go through a few people to even realize that I was the problem.
Yep.
So now I done hurt a few people, in the midst of me trying to grow and understand myself. And when I look back, it's not a good feeling.
No, it's not.
When I look back, it's like, it says over and over to me that, Stacey, that's not who you are. And I made the decision to never be that guy again.
Yep.
And so when the next Mrs. Beautiful Friend or perhaps the next Mrs. Right come, I'm going to be very mindful not to be that old guy. I'm going to be very intentional not to be that old guy. And just so that you all know, this is not just in interpersonal relationships. This is in every relationship. Do you have the energy to put into a new relationship? Do you have the energy to go and work at a new company, a new job? Do you have the energy to start your own business and make it happen? Do you have the energy to improve your current family's situation? Sometimes you're in a relationship with somebody, it's bad, it's not working out, you've been kind of distant for a while, but you want it. And so now you got to bring some new energy to an old relationship. Do you have the energy to bring to better the relationship that you have? Divorce is rampant. People are quitting. People are giving up. People are letting go. That may not be the right thing for you to do.
I agree.
If you're just fed up and you're just sick of it and you know this person is never going to add value, you got to do what you got to do. But sometimes you love this person, but you just don't like them. Or sometimes you like this person, you just don't love them anymore. But whatever that transition is, you got to gird up the strength to go and fight the good fight.
Right.
Don't let somebody good get away and you spend the rest of your life with knuckleheads because you were short-sighted and you couldn't see the big picture. The big picture is that you want somebody in your life who you can share life with.
Say it.
They're not going to be perfect. They may have lots of faults. They may have lots of challenges.
Yep.
But the part of them that you fell in love with, that's the part that you got to nourish and hold on to.
Say it.
Right? We know relationships are difficult. People are changing every single day. And not only are they changing, but they're changing 360 degrees by 360 degrees.
Right.
So the job that you got to, You know, it felt good at first, but all of a sudden you start to know the people.
Right.
Right? But did you forget why you were there? You were there to get the knowledge. You were there to get the insight. You were there to get the experience so you could start your own business.
That is correct.
And so now you got to have the energy to go in and be patient with maybe a challenging environment so that you can get the gravy out of it. Right?
Oh,
I
you
had
talking and preaching now.
Yeah, man. I had someone to ask me, and we get this all the time.
What they ask you?
How much money are you making with your show? You don't go and talk with Jay, man. You've been doing. How much money are you making? But see, they don't
get that a lot,
understand
too.
how greatness works.
No, they
Right?
don't.
Jay and I literally, and our production manager, Booby, and we got several other people,
Yes.
have put thousands of hours into this business. And it has taught us so many lessons.
Man.
It has given us so much experience. It has prepared us for our greatness. And I tell you, I'm preparing to step into my, just like Jay's greatness
Yeah.
has just elevated, I'm preparing to step into my greatness,
Yes.
and I feel so confident that it's already done. But I had to put in the work. You're not
Yes.
going to get anything for free. Nothing comes for free. Nothing comes without hard work. Nothing comes without that moment where you got to bite your lip, that moment where you got to dig in a little deeper. Nothing good comes unless you have to go through those things. Relationship, business, family. Sometimes we got to bite our lip and we got to check ourselves with our own family. But in order to experience love among family, you got to find some patience. You got to find some interest in supporting. Sometimes you gotta say, rather than saying, you know what, I ain't gonna deal with this, I done dealt with it 1,000 times. Sometimes you gotta deal with it one more time.
There you go.
Sometimes you gotta keep fighting one more day. That's the new attitude, that's the new energy that you're going to bring to the table that's gonna better the situation or hopefully improve it enough so that you can stay there. You can tolerate it.
Oh, yeah.
But too many people want it easy. Too many people are not fighting. Too many people think that it's not supposed to be this difficult.
Correct.
It is going to be that difficult.
It can be.
It is going to be that difficult. I just think about the old story of the Bible that the Lord destroyed the world. He said it was so corrupt, I'm just going to destroy it and then try to move forward. And after he destroyed it and tried to move forward, he realized that he made a mistake. And he says, I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to do that again. This time, I'm going to be patient. This time, I'm going to pour in more because I'm expecting more. You know, we've all got to find a way to grow to the next level because the relationship of your dreams, who you are now, is not going to be the you that you need to be when you find the relationship of your dreams, whatever area of life that is. And I don't think we can say any more than that on the subject.
No. The only thing I can tell you is that I'm gonna chime back in, and when I said I hurt some people, please understand everybody got a different way of expressing their hurt.
Absolutely.
My hurt wasn't in the physical realm. I never physically hurted anybody. It's for the fact that they really see me as a husband. I show husband type material.
Yes.
So they looked at me as being their one and only, and I wasn't really ready for that.
Right.
So that's the hurt I'm talking about, because a lot of time people put their own on you and it conflict me. Just like people like to go back and listen to my show and say, you ain't really healed because you bragging about a situation or me still being in a single place. Understand, I've been healed. I just stayed stagnant for a long time. But that's because you're not understanding my life. I'm giving something in front of you to help you realize that I was not born perfect.
Right.
And nor are you.
Right.
But you're so quick to judge. But I didn't quit. I didn't quit anything. I started enhancing myself. And I wasn't just looking at my failures as just a failure. I looked at it as lessons. So now I can talk to you from a lesson standpoint than a hurt standpoint. I'm not crying about this.
Right.
I can joke about it and I can give it to you and express it in a better way now because I'm not in that same place. I can smile now when I cried then.
Right.
And I didn't cry in front of the camera. I cried inside because it hurt me more than it hurted anybody else.
Yeah.
I did not want to be that nasty person that I was portraying. I wanted to be a better person because God had better in me. It just had to get out me.
Right.
And I had to find ways to do it. This show is just one of them. So you want to know how much I get paid? It's my therapy. It's my therapy to the world because you need to be healed as well.
Right.
So how much money am I gonna make? That's the problem because you're chasing something you can't catch.
Woo.
I can tell you right now, I will make more. If I hit the lottery, I wouldn't quit my job or my show. Can you say that? Most people are so quick to quit because you don't want to be there. I want to be at my company. At the level I'm at, I'm feeling it. Where I promise you, I don't have to take this money and feel great about the money. I'm great about what I'm doing.
Listen, probably one of the greatest notes that I have had from this 6-year relationship. Jay got frustrated in corporate America and quit.
Yes, I did.
Quit. We never missed the show.
Nope.
Why? Because his interpersonal vision was that I want to help somebody, and I'm going to do that whether I got money, whether I'm working, whatever. I'm going to do that anyway. And so now he's at a place where he's in the millions. You know, he should, as long as the grind moves right, he'll never worry about taking care of himself and his family again. And I believe that is a blessing from the 580 shows that we have done nurturing people's lives.
Say that number again.
580 shows that under our belt. Nothing but pure wisdom given away to people who just might be able to heal and better their lives.
Thank you.
That's where the millions come from.
Yes.
It don't come from his hard work and his intellect and all of that, putting the pieces together and managing the people and the resource. It doesn't come from any of that. The blessings are coming from all that he has given to this world. You give away a lot, you will receive greatness in your life. That's the way our world works. It's a karmic activity. What you put in is what you get out.
Thank you.
He put all of it into life, and it had nothing to do with money. What's coming out of it is lots of money and prosperity for his future.
Thank you.
And, man, I don't know if that's a great place for us to close out.
It is, because again, I like to say people are chasing money and not chasing understanding of yourself.
Right.
Because if you get in the right place, especially where he has you, it's not just the abundance of money. It's going to be money coming where now you're not feeling the same way.
There you go.
Because we're chasing something and we're getting frustrated and you're not living the best life that you can live. So if somebody was able to give it to you and then you had it, you wouldn't even experience all the stuff you're going to have without it. Because I promise you, it's been a learning curve both ways for me.
Yeah.
So now that I have to have better ways to know how to keep it, what I need to do, and that's why I told you I can't live the same way. You have to do things different. It ain't just the money, it's you. Elevate, soar high, think higher.
Yes.
Quit being down low.
Yes.
Down low was great when you was in the trenches. You had to learn that. Now that you passed that, you got to learn to elevate. Quit staying down when you need to be up.
There you
Head
go.
up, quit looking down.
Every new relationship you enter into is going to require an elevated mindset.
Thank you.
Make sure you entertain that before you go into it, because if you don't, that means you're taking the old bags into a new life, and that just won't work.
False failure.
And I believe that closes us out tonight. This has been Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay, and we want to thank you folks for being here with us tonight.
Yes.
We are here every Thursday from 7 to 8, Facebook Live. You can find us on every major platform.
Yes.
And we do this from our hearts.
Yes.
We do this to pour back into the community. We hope that this has been elevating to your spirit, and something about you might have changed and might have grew as a result of our stories and opinions.
Okay.
I just want to let you folks know that we love you, we appreciate you, and with that, we are out.
Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.